Fashion and business may look vastly different at first glance, each with its own culture and dynamics. Still, my next guest, Sofia Wakabayashi, is a testament of how these two can coexist and take things to a whole nother level. I can't wait for this next episode, my friends. What are we going to have a great time at the Carlos Inspire show because it's about to go down. And before we start the show, I want to do a little self-sponsorship over here with an incredible cause that's dearly to my heart. Yesterday, I was watching an awesome documentary when the legends, they all got together. Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, they recorded the song, "We Are the World, We Are the Children." So, and it reminded me how much, not just in Brazil with my causes, but also in Africa and around the world, people are still dying out of hunger, sex trafficking, organ trafficking. And as you guys know me for years, I'm big when it comes to those causes. Every time that I can promote or raise awareness, like I did with the movie Sounds of Freedom, my friends, shout out to the Monteverde brothers, the directors of that movie, good friends of mine. And today, for anybody here listening to us, CEOs, founders, authors, coaches, consultants, who wants to share your story, amplify your brand, showcase your awesomeness, and make a real impact. If you guys want to get interviewed by me on the Carlos Inspire show, where we stream live on LinkedIn, where we are getting 40,000+ views and impressions on a weekly basis. That's almost 200,000 people. Now we are streaming live on X. Elon Musk, my brother, is spending a lot of money on X right now. He wants more video. Pro tip to you guys, start doing more videos and streaming your shows on X. You will get a whole lot of more viewers. Pro tips of the day. All that we ask, anybody that wants to be interviewed by me and get massive exposure, is that you make a minimum donation of $9.99 or more. Basically $1,000, and I don't take it personal if all you do is just make $1,000. And we will interview you, have an incredible show that we'll put together and feature your story, your life, your awesomeness, so we can make an impact together. If that is something that you guys are looking for, send me an email to info@carlosinspire.com with the subject, Podcast Against Hunger. Let's change lives together. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring you to the stage, fashion, tech, and influencer, the unstoppable journey of supermodel turned mega star branding strategist, Sofia Wakabayashi. How are you, sister?
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. What a great show.
My friend, I'm excited. I'm excited for the show. And it's going to be incredible. And I want to go right into Sofia. I prepared a great episode for us over here, my friend. As you know, your story is incredible. I remember when you and I were talking offline a few times, and I was telling you, me and Brazilian, I have a lot of Brazilian friends that are models. And you were talking about the stuff that you guys go through that nobody has no idea, like eating napkins to stay skinny. And the shit that goes down, right? The abuse that you guys have to go under. And it's so much shit that goes under that industry. People, they don't really know. It's very easy sometimes to judge, she's pretty and this and that. But you don't know what it takes to remain that pretty and to continue to get in the gigs and the books and the magazines and the big sponsorships. It's a lot of darkness that goes under. We might go there today and talk about maybe some crazy stories. But let's talk about the early days and the leap of faith, right, Sofia? Because, your journey began on the catwalks of the fashion world. And can you share with us, what was that like going from the glamorous life to the hustle of Silicon Valley? And I happen to be in Silicon Valley. What motivated you, to leave, the successful modeling career behind and venture into the tech space?
Yeah, well, I've had an interesting journey going back and forth. So I started modeling in college to pay for school. So I was already introduced to the hustle back then as a student. Then after college, I was actually told I'm too old to internationally model at 21 years old, which is a really weird thing at 21 to be told you're too old to do something. So I ventured into tech and business, and I started out doing sales. And it was actually a good fit because in modeling, I learned a lot of confidence where you have every single day on the job is different. You're meeting new people, new clients, new teams. So you have to be very confident and good at talking. So starting out in sales was just a natural fit, and I ended up being really good at it. And I think the reason is because I had no tolerance for, or I had a high tolerance for rejection, because in modeling, you're told 100 times no before you get one yes. So it was the same for me with sales. If people didn't want to buy something, I just thought, okay, like, it's not even me. It's not me as a product. I can't take this personally. So I was just really resilient and able to become top in sales. Then I got a unique opportunity at 24 to go on Asia's Next Top Model. So that's when I was managing business development for tech companies. And I had this opportunity. So I quit my job. I got on a plane and moved to Singapore, didn't know anyone there, and took that leap of faith to go on Asia's Next Top Model, which at the time was so the opposite of anything I would have done. I was so nervous. I was a shy person. So I really wanted to do it to push myself. And I knew that if I didn't do it, I would look back on my life and regret that moment that I didn't take that opportunity. So.
Wow. No, I love it. I love it. It's funny how people, it's a lot of opinionated people there, right? They will tell you you're too young or you're too old. And I often say you're never too young or too old to do anything, man. It's all about when you believe in something and you just do it. And I had a very profound conversation with a CEO that I mentored the other day. And I was telling them, he said, where did you find that hunger, to keep going in the midst of all the chaos? Like a lot of people, they don't know some of the things that I don't talk about. Like sometimes, like I was telling you here before we started live, I deal with a lot of issues in Brazil with my farms, right? People invade my properties. They try to kidnap my family. So, it's always something. I often tell people new levels, new devils. And that hunger comes from that little kid, the little Carlos that sold that bread at age 7 years old, because he want to help his mom and himself stop being abused, stopping the poverty. And when you make it personal, it's not business anymore for me. It's personal. It's like, how can I help more kids? How can I help more people? And when you focus on that, on helping others, on the contribution, not the acquisition, it doesn't matter what they tell us, whether you're too young, you're too old, you're never going to make it, right? In Singapore, in Silicon Valley, or in whoever. It's like they don't know our stories. Like I often tell people, don't be afraid to share your story. The unknown person in the room has the greatest leverage. And let's talk about building brands in this digital world, because I have a lot of people that follow me, a lot of coaches, consultants, speakers, authors, agencies, marketing agencies. And it's a very, very competitive space. I mean, you successfully bridge very two way, totally different worlds, right? Fashion and tech. And a lot of people that follow me here are also VCs and founders in the tech space over here in Silicon Valley, New York, and Toronto, Dubai, as I speak often in those cities. And what lessons did you bring from the runway to the boardroom that help brands stand out today? What is something that you can share that helped you, Sofia, that you can share with our audience that can help them out?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, it boiled down to personal branding. So when I was going through modeling, it was the rise of Instagram in 2012. So social media was on the rise, and it became now part of our portfolio to post on social media, which it transformed our industry completely and the job as a model. And I didn't know that I was going through a masterclass in personal branding, because even with your agency, you sit down and you decide, okay, what's my image? Am I beauty? Am I commercial? Am I runway? What are my values? Am I willing to advertise for alcohol and for lingerie or this or that? You have to understand yourself as a product, but also what you represent. And I think that was just such an interesting time where it completely changed the industry, changed marketing. So when I came back into tech 8 years later, I started business consulting for sales and doing revenue growth for technology companies, but seeing that the social media managers were only managing, say, a company page. And I realized, wow, so interesting, because I even had friends who are entrepreneurs who, say, built up their company social media, but then the company failed. So then they had to start another new social media account when they started a new company. Whereas had they actually just been focusing on their personal brand, that would have sustained them throughout all of their companies and continued to build over time, because people buy into who you are as a person. And there's so many statistics to support that now. Say 77% of consumers are more likely to buy when the CEO is on social media. So there's tons of just powerful statistics like that. And so I think that's the number one thing that I'm seeing. I just came back into tech, saw all these amazing companies, but none of the CEOs were personal branding. So they're missing out on 80% probably of their sales and marketing opportunities, because once you start to learn how to create this machine, which is really what these social media platforms are an AI machine, how do you set it up in the right way that it's working for you 24/7 on your behalf? So if it's Instagram, that's kind of like a photo or work portfolio for you. Whereas LinkedIn, it's a professional platform. And so you're also showing what you do professionally. And I think that's just so important. So I didn't realize how much all of that overlapped coming back into it. So I meet a lot of CEOs and founders who aren't actually thinking about even the depth of what is their personal brand image and what are their values and what brands are they willing to work with? What does their company or who they are represent? And that's so important because in this day and age, it's all about authenticity and people buying into you. So you also can't just craft kind of a fake personal brand or one just around your company. It has to be authentic to you. And so I'd say that's probably the biggest advice I've found is if you're not doing personal branding, you need to get on it now, because they say LinkedIn 2024 is like Instagram 2012. So the opportunity right now to blow up professionally on that platform is huge.
Yes, no, I love it. I love it. I have a lot of friends, they are models and even no models, but they're very pretty. And they are constantly, they are hustling. Every day they are posting on LinkedIn, on Instagram, but they put in the work, right? A lot of people sometimes they try to judge, they use the image. No, they are working hard. They are using the image. They are putting great content. They're giving value and they are helping others. They have the receipts to prove it. And that's what I love it, right? When you use your image, your beauty, but you actually have something to offer that's actually leaving somebody, the clients that come to you guys, in a better place. Because you're showing them, you're not just like, I'm not getting clients just because I am pretty. Here's all the work that I do every single day, right? Putting out the content, helping people, going the extra mile, right? As I often help a lot of influencers and coaches that follow me, and I help them becoming a category of one. So when they think about the problem that you solve and they seek and they don't have, who comes to mind first? And I love about it. So shout out to all the women out there. They are hustling and every single day put in the grind. You guys know me. I was raised by women, as you guys know my stories. And I love helping women and a lot of our causes and the things that we do. So massive, massive shout out. And you say something powerful there, because with social media, Sofia, as you guys look at what we're doing here, right? We are streaming live, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. Why? Because they are competing with YouTube. So they want more videos, right? Sofia and I, we can take a bunch of clips from this video interview and we can repurpose out there and then share it with others, because those companies, think about it. When you think about the pain that you are solving for your clients, have you ever asked yourself, what is the pain that the social media companies are going through right now? What are the pains that the big titans of tech are going through right now? So now imagine if you are a person of value helping them solve these pain points. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to give you hundreds of thousands, millions of views for free and impressions into your posts, into your videos, into your podcast. Guess how much money we spend? Zero, nada. And you get massive, massive eyeballs into your brand, where now we can have amazing interviews like Sofia and I here, as I do with many of my prior guests, influencers like Sofia, celebrities, athletes, incredible people that we have on the show this past several years. But again, it's because we give into the social media companies what they want. It showcases credibility, authority. It's the same way how I always tell you guys, you want to get on more stages, online and offline. And speaking of stages, my friend Sofia, you've been featured a U.S. Insider and many, many press releases out there and media forms. And, something tell me, a little whisper tells me that you have the Waka Growth Summit coming up. We turn dreams into reality coming up November 8 and 9. I'm super excited. Full disclosure, I'm a keynote at that event. And I even have a second gig at that event where I'm doing a panel, speaking not once, not twice, right? I often tell you guys I speak 3 times a week on stages, online and offline. And you guys know me. Whatever I talk about, we documented, we put it out there. Nobody can ever question our integrity because it's all about helping others. So I'm super excited about Sofia. Without giving them too much of the mind-blowing content, business acceleration strategies, branding, and some of the things that we have, surprises for them, what can you tell us in a few sentences about why you are so excited about the Waka Growth Summit?
Yes, well, we're so excited to have you, Carlos, as a keynote and on a panel. And I really designed the summit to help other people become entrepreneurs or people who are already entrepreneurs or in business to elevate to the next level, because I'm really passionate about helping people become sovereign, divine, and free. And so that's really what it's designed around. Each panel is teaching you things from amazing people who have turned their dreams into reality, some of the best CEOs and leaders that I know. And it's also for the next generation of conscious leaders. So it's about mixing in being a conscious person, learning how to drive revenue, how to create your dream life, and also how to hack the system in a way. So I know you're on the funding panel, Carlos. So we're going to be going into even things, how to set up your own banking systems, how to leverage business debt, how to leverage even life insurance and set up your companies the right way, just like the elites do. So just sharing a lot of information that's typically been gatekept from the public, but I want that to be available to as many people as possible. So our summit is free. The admission is free right now, and it will be in 3D reality for Agora World. So that was really exciting to set up and realize is it's going to be in a whole 3D world. You can see it on your desktop, on a TV, or if you have VR goggles, you can also get the whole immersive experience that way.
Yes, no, I'm very excited. I mean, as I often talk about, a lot of people out there, they struggle with their summits and their challenges that they are doing because they are doing what everybody else is doing. And I want you guys to write this thing down. You must do what others don't do, can't do, and will not think of doing. Think about it right now, guys. How are you creating allure with your brand so that when you do a summit, when you do an event, when you do a get together, people are actually looking forward to? As I often teach people, and I've been doing events for so many years, and I love surprising when I go to an event. I bring some of my celebrity clients. I don't even tell you, or the CEOs of the event. They're like, why, did you just invited this person? Yes. Because why? It's to trade expectations for appreciation. They didn't ask. But again, it's about creating allure, doing something different, like you bring in the VR, the whole AI, integrating. Like I said at the beginning of this show, you guys are in for a treat, right? We bring in how can fashion and tech integrate into now where we are sharing here with you guys different things for you guys to think about. I want you guys listening to us to challenge your consultants, challenge your marketing companies, challenge the agencies that you are working with. If you are not growing, if you're not filling out your events, butts and seats, if you're not getting clients on your calendar on a daily basis to showcase, highly recommend you guys reaching out to us. Highly recommend you guys coming to the summit. And you say the summit is free, Sofia. How can they register for the summit? What is the best place that they can?
Yeah, they can go to summit.wakagrowth.com. So maybe we can drop that in the chat. Let me see if I can type it.
Yeah, drop the chat.
That show up to everyone?
On the link, yes. We'll drop over here on the chat where this is being streamed live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. So we'll make sure somebody from the team will drop a link over here for you guys live. And so you guys know exactly what you go. If you are listening live on the podcast, this is being recorded live, by the way, which we are recording live this podcast. And every week, typically we record it on Wednesday or Thursday at 12 noon Pacific. And on the following Monday, we release the episode for global distribution on Apple, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, Alexa. Some of you guys that have the smart houses, just say, Alexa, play CarlosInspireShow.com, episode number 72 with Sofia Wakabayashi. So and every Monday at 7:17 a.m. Pacific time. Forget about that time. What time did I say? 7:17 a.m. Pacific. CarlosInspireShow.com. Incredible episodes. We have some amazing guests, guys, coming up and line up for the show. I'm not going to say nothing else, but we have a lot of great things cooking. But I'm excited. Check it out. Waka Growth Summit. This is going to be incredible. We're going to bring it. And speaking of bringing, let's continue our branding conversation over here. Sofia, how has your experience in this, pretty much contrasting businesses and industries. Because a lot of people, they coming from a totally contrast industry or they got laid off and they're looking for a way to break in as a coach, as a consultant, as a speaker. But maybe they are lost. Maybe they've been on it for months. They spent so much money already on so many coaches and courses and programs, and they stuck. Maybe they are in a worse place than what they begun. As you and I know, is so much fluff out there. That's why I tell people, look it up, these people. When you are choosing a coach and marketing company, look at their past, look at the endorsements, look at their testimonials, call some of these people, truly vet them to make sure that you are working with professionals and not with amateurs. And you know how I am. I'm all about raising the bar and the education in the space of branding and marketing. But from your perspective, sis, as you've been super successful doing this, how has your experience in this contrasting space has shaped your own unique approach to social media marketing and influence when you are promoting yourself, your company, and attracting brands to you?
That's a really great question, Carlos. That's a loaded one. Wow. But, I think the hardest part about starting off as a coach, you're really starting as an entrepreneur. And so you have to be selling something or coaching something you authentically know that you're very much aligned with, because I think even before it gets to social media, we're talking about energy frequency and the way that you're showing up. So I think if you're teaching the right thing, you're authentic in that, you're going to start magnetizing the right people. And sometimes that takes a lot of healing work because you might have a lot of subconscious programming where you think you're not good enough, or there's so many layers to work through. So that's one aspect. But then I'd say the other is getting on with your branding and being on social media, in which case, same thing, you need to be aware and know yourself really well. So what is my niche? And am I setting up my profiles to be a lead flow that's working well? So same thing as setting up your social platforms as a machine to start working on your behalf. You should also know how to optimize your profiles so that people are coming to you as a flow. So for example, your headline, say even on LinkedIn, you want to have it be a bit of a teaser in the beginning. So that when people are seeing your headline all around LinkedIn, they think, oh, what is that headline? And they want to click through. They come, they're buying into who you are. They're reading your about section and the whole flow makes sense. And then they start going into your featured area, seeing what you offer. And you want it to feel not much like a real sell. That's where I think a lot of people go wrong, or people who come to our agency, as they're doing this hard sale approach. And nobody really likes that. And that can come off that way, even just from your profile. You're not even sending them messages, but if your profile is set up in a way where it's super sales-like, that really deters people. And so there are strategies to it, but at the end of the day, it's, are you authentic? Are you sharing your story authentically? Because the people you're going to attract in coaching or in consulting are going to be those who buy into who you are, who feel connected to you, and they feel connected to your story. And that's why they want to come and learn from you.
Yes, no, I totally agree 1,000%. You know me, I'm big when it comes to like word patterns, using word patterns that, because you guys see me talking about this all the time in masterminds and events around the world. When you have a superpower, right? You can solve a problem for people with branding and marketing, helping them. So for you guys listening to us, whatever is that superpower that you have that you can help others and better their lives, think about the problem that they are going through, that they have, that they are seek a result and they don't have. When you are able to put that, as Sofia mentioned here, in your profile, and you speak in a way to bypasses their shield, their conscious mind that debates and hesitates, now you get into the subconscious mind, and the subconscious can only say 3-letter word, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Yes to you, yes to your messages, yes to your summits, yes to your social media and growth. And normally it's unconscious thing that happens. So that's why you guys see me preaching so much public speaking, communications, learning how to present, how to talk, right? On podcasts, on TV, on the stage, or on the radio, everywhere. When you are networking with people, so you're not appealing salesy, you're always adding value first. Value, jab, 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 jab. My good friend Gary Vee always say, oh, jab, jab, hook. I say jab, 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 jab. Eventually, you don't even have it to hook. They will come to you. That's when you flip the convoluted sales funnel process. And let's switch a little bit, because since COVID, a lot of people been going through a lot of issues like healthy wise and navigating challenges in health crisis. You faced significantly health challenges that shift your path from modeling to consciousness technology. Can you tell us how this experience reshaped your purpose and your approach both to life and business? Because I think that a lot of people would relate to that maybe they're going through something difficult, healthy-wise. Maybe they lost they think they lost it, but it's actually, as you and I know, is the things that we seek are not outside, they are inside. So I love that term, consciousness technology. Can you tell us a little bit about your experiences dealing with those health issues, how you reshape your own purpose and your approach to both life and business?
Yeah, that health issue I went through really reshaped my life completely. That was towards the end of my modeling career in Asia. I got diagnosed with arthritis, with Sjogren's, with eventually fibromyalgia and hypothyroidism. So I was testing positive for all of these autoimmune disorders. And my quality of life was getting worse and worse. It got to a point where I couldn't see anymore. I could barely get out of bed. I was in so much pain. And the doctors had me on so many medications. And I went down this path for almost 5 years, going to different doctors. Nobody could help me. And finally, a doctor told me, you just have to accept that this is going to be the rest of your life. And I said, you know what? I don't accept that. And that's when I went and started finding natural healers. And there's these stories that you hear of people healing themselves. And I was even so programmed back then that I thought, I don't know, this probably isn't possible, but I have to try. And so I think I had to get pushed to that extreme for me to awaken in a way. And so the natural healer had me first go into plant medicine, but also start doing light body work. And I didn't know what that was at the time, but really just imagining a light going through my body and healing me and using my mind power and my soul power. And after about 3 months, all of my symptoms went away. I pretty much healed myself. The doctors were shocked and they were like, I don't know how this is happening. But it also then led to my own spontaneous kind of Kundalini awakening. I guess some people call it that, where I had spiritual gifts as a child and I had turned them off because they weren't accepted by my family. So I just repressed everything about who I truly was. And so when this awakening happened, all of those gifts turned back on. So it was a little bit scary at first. I didn't know what was happening. I could see figures again, kind of your psychic abilities turn on, and you also feel like you might be going insane and it's against everything that's happening in the world or society wants you to know. So you are also in a private mode where you don't want to share it. You're scared what's happening to you. But it really led me down this path of learning more about ancient history, quantum physics, what's happening to me, because I'm a very left brain person and I didn't grow up religious. So I needed proof for everything that was happening to me. So I went hard. I was reading articles from professors, doing all the research, going back into crazy timelines in history, trying to figure out if this is real, what's happening. And eventually, even after a year, I went back to the doctor and he was so shocked because he saw that the protein released from my pineal gland, that was so high. He said, I've never seen such high numbers before. We only see this in textbooks. Are you a professional athlete? And at the time I was barely going to the gym. And I said, no, it's not. But he said, this is incredible because your blood work is showing that you're almost biologically reversing your age and you're having so many proteins coming out of your pineal gland that we usually only see this from professional athletes. Again, it's kind of supernatural. And so I went from doctors telling me I'm basically dying to now I'm basically supernatural. So that's when I started to really understand there's something to this. This is very real. And ever since, I've never gotten sick. And it really pivoted my entire life because that's when I also started teaching it on the side. I was scared to come out with it publicly because you're like, how is this going to affect my business? People are going to think I'm nuts. But then to see on this other level that the things that I learned were helping now so many people also to unlock their spiritual gifts or have awakenings and change their lives. And only recently I came out with that more publicly. So I am trying to learn how to teach on a bigger level, but it changed everything, even to how I operate in my business with my team. We do meditations and visualizations and activations. And I really believe that it's helping us to create more projects. We're more efficient. We're more high performing. We can manifest quicker because we're creating things in the quantum field. But what's fascinating is when you start going further into these teachings is that you learn a lot of this exists in the collective consciousness field. So it's not that it's just information coming to me. You'll find a lot of other practitioners who are pulling that same information from the field, which is what makes it even more fascinating because you have this validation where you're like, wow, that came to me as well. But it's using things like sacred geometry, which is the language of the universe, and understanding the laws of the universe and how they work together. And once you do that, then you actually kind of know how to hack the universe or how to hack energy, and your life just accelerates. My life has been, almost feels unreal, like I'm living my dream life every single day ever since I went through my own awakening.
I love it. I love it. I mean, spiritual awakening, right? That gets you through some tough times. I love talking about those things, and I have a lot of friends from all different backgrounds, right? Area 51 and early civilizations. You guys know me. I love philosophy. I studied the early Roman empires, and I love reading books. Shen Tzu, The Art of War. And I'm big. I have a special guest that is actually going to go deep. What happened when mental health doesn't work, right? What happened when coaching and therapy doesn't work? When you literally, if you guys listening to us, if you're just stuck and you cannot fix it, you'll be surprised how much spiritual awakening can actually help and assist with that. What Sofia just described. I actually have a very cool guest coming up. I'm going to save the name and the date for once we lock that in. But that's going to be crazy because, it's a lot of stuff like that. I don't know if you know this about me. I'm actually a certified Qigong master. And people, they don't understand the power of energy. It's like if you guys watching Mortal Kombat Street Fight, you can fight with somebody without touching them and you can still move them. And there is so much around the energy field that people, they don't understand. I have a lot of military friends, and you guys know me. I did a little bit of Marines in Brazil. There are so much technology in the frequency space. You can actually send a frequency, good or bad, to somebody across continents. And you see, this can go to a whole nother level. But, we'll probably have a conversation we should have a whole show about that. Or maybe at the Waka Growth Summit, anybody that is into those things, we might do a live summit next year. I was talking to Sofia about that. So maybe at the live summit, we might do a little activation, a little healing where we can lay hands on you guys and you can experience in real time. A little plug in there. You never know. I think we might gonna do a Waka Live. I've been telling Sofia about it. You guys know me. I'm big in creating experiences and mind-blowing stuff. So just a little plug in there. But Sofia, let's go from now to quantum physics and conscious branding, because I know you love this stuff and I love this stuff as well. I mean, you are known for integrating quantum physics and consciousness into your branding strategy. For those unfamiliar with these concepts, how do they play a role in the way you help brands grow?
Yeah, wow. Well, I think there's an awakening happening just over the whole world. So that's really helpful because I think putting out now words like consciousness or consciousness technology or the quantum field, people understand it and more people are looking for that energy work. And take it from me, I was scared to come out with this in my branding. And I thought, oh, people aren't going to take me seriously. But it was actually the complete opposite. As soon as I started going live with this, almost everyone that I tracked for either my social media marketing firm or for my coaching, either way, they're coming because they feel a connection to that, either the unlocking your soul power, the consciousness technology. Usually people, again, if you're aligned, you're going to be magnetizing the right people and you're branding it the right way. So don't be afraid to put out who you are. And I think you're going to attract, again, the right people to you if you're putting it out there that you do consciousness, that you have spirituality. I don't think people should be as afraid of it anymore in their branding. And again, it's just something I went through, being so afraid. It's so funny to look back on it and you think, wow, I was so in my ego or I was so in my programming to think that somehow people are going to judge me or deter from this, when it's really the opposite. People start respecting you for being who you are and also owning your story if that's part of what you went through in your branding, not just your branding, but your personal journey. So I think, again, if you want to incorporate that into your branding, just be authentic, go into the direction that you are drawn towards. So whether that's Reiki or if it's a specific type of healing or past life regressions. I think just making that really clear in your messaging, because the spiritual world or this consciousness stuff can be quite confusing. And so I think the more specific you are about what you know and what direction you are, again, you're going to attract people on that level who are seeking that information or that type of consciousness work.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And you guys see it, many of the legends and the biggest names in social media, where they do that stuff, you go live. You guys see me do all the time. You just hit the live button and you in the mood, whether I'm playing soccer with Isabella or jumping a waterfall, or I am pissed off about something that somebody may invade my properties in Brazil. And, you get a call, you just got a 6-figure proposition from a Fortune 50 company. And the next call, oh, somebody tried to kidnap your mom. Oh, shit. Can the brother get a break? But you see, people, they want to see it. They want to see your struggles. They want to see your wins. They want to see your losses, right? They want to see you in the moment, right? And just doing stuff, testing things. Like Gary Vee, he's crazy as hell. He's narrating his book, and out of nowhere, I'm going to go off script, and I'm going to go live here. So who does that? Gary freaking Vee, right? But again, trying new things, creating new narratives, showcasing something live. He did that recording. Oh, that's that video that he did in that book. Or that. So now what he's doing there, he's bringing you back to that book, to his brand. Now you're buying his book. Now you're taking the book home. Now you are part of his world, right? So you see some of these guys. You see Jay Shetty, right? One of his daily meditations for decades, meditating live on Instagram and social media. You see, but that's the stuff, right? Doing. If you love doing it, get in the game, doing it, putting it out there, showcasing like what Sofia's talking about, like being authentic, but literally just getting, because people, they want to see that. And then don't be afraid, as Sofia said, if you love spiritual awakening, this whole consciousness that's happening around the world, talk about it. Well, who cares if they're going to judge what they say? They're going to forget about it anyway. And Sofia, can you share like a specific example where you apply these principles to create a breakthrough for a client?
Yes. Wow. I've had it happen so many times. It's actually really fascinating, because I think once you put yourself out there as this energetic being and you're doing consciousness work or cosmic work, I have a lot of people who come to me, say, for the social media branding side, and there'll be, for example, a lot of ego involved where they want to become an influencer overnight, or there's just kind of, not great reasons behind it when I'm trying to ask them, okay, why do you want to become a thought leader or in this space? And usually when we kind of break it down over time, then it turns out it's that deeper issue where they actually don't care that much, but they have an insecurity or a deep wound that they don't feel that they're good enough. And so in that interesting way, my consciousness work then overlaps, because then it takes us into a new conversation where then suddenly they are like, wow, I've been looking for this type of energy work, or I'm interested in becoming more confident. So then sometimes I'll start with them actually with my coaching before I say, okay, maybe we're not ready yet for the social media aspect until you start to feel more confident or like who you truly are and unlocking those memories. So in that really interesting way, I've seen my work overlap. But then when we're able to then get on the same page consciously, and that person becomes more settled in their soul identity versus their human identity, we can come back to the social media and now brand them into who they really are authentically. So instead of it being all money driven or, oh, I needed followers, now it's, hey, what work can I do for the world? What value am I putting out there for others? What's my true purpose? What's my true message? So yeah, it happens actually a lot with us for our clients. So it's been fascinating to see how the consciousness work overlaps and then comes and actually helps to totally transform their personal brand, because at the end of the day, the personal brand is a reflection of who they are. And in the most fascinating way, I've started to realize that a journey in influencing or in social media is also a masterclass in personal development, because I went through that myself too, where say when I started getting on LinkedIn, the first 2 months, you feel so cringy because you're not getting any likes, you're not getting any traction on anything. And so you get very much in your ego and you're thinking, oh, it's not working. This is so embarrassing. But like you said, nobody cares at the end of the day. You're the only one who cares that much. But so you go through an ego death. And then you also go through where people start to recognize you as you build your influence, and you might start getting hate, kind of like you mentioned, the higher you go, the harder it gets. So in that fascinating way too, I see that because of my experience through it, I'm also able to coach my social media clients through kind of this journey of your ego death or of personal development through it. So
I love that. I love that. I had a conversation about ego with, I have a lot of clients of mine, they're athletes, former NFL soccer players, ball players and stuff. And we're constantly talking about that, whenever they retire and now they got to transition from sport into business. Typically, they will do what everybody else is doing. Some of their friends, they will go buy a franchise and, but that doesn't make them happy, right? They like being in the locker room, in your face, talking shit. Like, they miss this, and that affects them. You know what I mean? Like literally, it's like people they don't really get to know, and when you really get to know and you start becoming friends with them, it's like, I guys see me talking about those demons a lot, that the demons that we got to deal with and look in the mirror. And normally, the ego stuff, when we learn how to deal with the ego, as we know our ego is not our amigo, that is magic, in being humble and stay grounded to where we come from. Now you guys know why I bring the bike to the stage, right? My little bicycle with the bread when I speak at the Oscars or whatever events out there that I surprise you guys. Big giant on a little bicycle, because I like to bring you guys the story, because it keeps me grounded. It keeps me humble. Never forget those days making 50 cents a day. It always reminds me that somebody else has worse, that never complain, never whine, even though we got some crazy shit that goes down. Imagine you dealing with somebody trying to kidnap your mom. What do? Like, you pay the ransom, you're going to keep paying it. You sell everything. What if it's not that simple, right? And it's so much, what I mean? As you grow, whatever you wanted to do, and you become a mega celebrity. Now you're like, oh my God, I don't want the paparazzis follow me everywhere. Be careful what you wish. You get you interviewed on a show, and now you're getting a couple of hundred people messaging you, asking for help for you to coach them, and you don't have the infrastructure to handle that. Now what? Right? So be very careful what you wish for, because, life will surprise you. And tell me about something, Sofia. In your view, what is the biggest mistake that entrepreneurs and brand leaders, they need to make to succeed in today's digital landscape, which is very competitive?
Wow. Well, it really depends where they are, but I'd say probably the biggest mistake is that they're not engaging in community growth. And a lot of people think that they can get on social media and they can just post every day, have enough content, put it out there, and that's enough. And that will get you only so far. But there's also, I guess it's called the de-influencing movement that's happening. So a lot of people are stopping to trust big creators now. They don't want to buy things from them. They don't want to follow them anymore. So there's kind of this whole distrust happening with the space. And I think that's because it is really ego driven, like we were just chatting about, where some people do it. They just want fame. They want power. But people who are watching and engaging, they want community and they want to feel connected and they want to trust people. And so if you are not understanding that, there's a disconnect from why you're posting. And so community growth is still the most important. After you post, you need to go and you need to interact with people. You need to comment back. You need to go to other big creators and comment on their posts and relate to people. And that's how you start getting organic followers and people who are really buying into who you are. And you're also making sure that you're staying in touch with them through the inbox or going back once and again and liking their photos. So you're actually building a community who is engaged with you, trusts you, wants to buy from you, wants to root for you. So I see that as the biggest missing piece, because you also see a lot of agencies that offer this. They'll offer posting and doing graphics, but they're not actually there building the community and doing the work. And so I actually also get a lot of clients who will say, hey, I go and I make a webinar and 150 people will sign up, but then only 20 people show up. And for me, my rates are much higher. Usually if I say I'm going on something, 150 people, then 100 people to 130 show up. So there's just an aspect of that where it's how loyal is your community, because you could have 300,000 followers and they're all fake and they're not bought into you. Or you could have 5,000 and they're actually loyal. They're really engaged with you. They follow everything you do. They're interacting. That 5,000 community is going to be much more valuable and much more powerful than the one that has 300,000 that's just fake. So I'd say that's the biggest thing I'm seeing on social media is this aspect of people not caring about their community and not engaging in it, because at the end of the day, the more you give, the more you receive. And so just remembering that as well on the social media is important.
I love that. I love that. And you guys remember what I said earlier, right? Whenever social media companies, they are launching new tools, pay attention to those things, because if you notice this past year, there is a massive eyeballs and amount of money being moving around within many of the titans, the social media companies, where it's all about, building communities, LinkedIn, Instagram, and X now. There's massive, they have their newsletters. So pay attention to those things, guys. Newsletters, memberships, right? TikTok, you can have 3 levels of membership, $1, $50, $100, and deliver based on that membership level. So that has been a massive, massive growth and emphasis around communities. And the titans, the social media companies, they know that. And now, as you guys can hear Sofia talking about here, myself talking about here, think about what are you doing to nurture those communities and to build. And you start small. You build a little community, like Sofia was saying, like you guys see me talking about all the time. You don't need 1 million followers on IG. It's better to have 1,000 hardcore loyal fans than having 1 million fake followers and people that are not engaging. People that actually trust you because of who you are. You're always showing up. You're adding value. You're posting consistency. And they love that about you. I bet you, Sofia, you hear that all the time. Wow, you're consistent. You are out there. You're everywhere, right? It's a great thing to hear, right, from people. And then whether you're not getting hate or love on social media, that means, it's time to step up. So I love what you say there. And let's talk a little bit about, I see a lot of youth, youngsters, want to move in all the time from the kids. I love playing sports. They're like, hey, Uncle Los, give me some advice. I want to start my own merch and I want to, become an influencer. What should I do? Like, whatever you are playing, if that's your things, you're doing sports, press the live button. And in between you playing and you're making your moves, have your shirt, have your hat, have your stuff, and tell people, ask your supporters to support it. Give a percentage to a cause. Start young, because if you are young and you're listening to us now, you have time. You have something that's Sofia and I, you have at least a decade or two on us, because you got time in your hand. And when you start young, 14, 15, 16, 18, it will catapult to a whole nother level, especially with AI and all the social media companies want more video views. You have a few things ahead of us that you can start doing now and build something incredible. But what advice, Sofia, would you give to young women or aspiring entrepreneurs who look up to you and they want to build their own influence in the digital space? What would be the number one thing that they should focus on?
The number one thing I always say is to care most about your mental health. So you have to enjoy what you're doing. So same thing, a lot of people come to me where they get coaches or they're seeking social media help, and they'll be told, oh, you need to niche, you need to pick one thing. And yes, that's important eventually once you've developed your business and you really want to start amping up sales. But what I've seen with younger people, I do mentor young women in digital marketing group, and they're not ready yet. They're not ready to start their business. They don't know what their life purpose is. They're overwhelmed and they get into a freeze state because they're so scared. They don't know what to post. So then they just don't do it. But exactly like you said, it's just post things that you enjoy, like whether it's your merch or a video of you playing with your friends, but just focus on what you enjoy. So for example, one person I was helping, she really liked horses and she liked the countryside, but she also really was interested in certain sports and then digital marketing. I'm like, that's fine. Then start posting what you love and what you know. And that's the most important thing, because staying consistent every day is the hardest part to show up. And I know because I've been there. And if you don't like what you're doing, you feel inauthentic, you're going to feel resistance to doing it. So at the end of the day, you have to enjoy it and you have to build up your resilience, because your why and why you're doing it is going to be what keeps you going. Because like we mentioned on this podcast, it happens eventually. Everyone gets hate. Everyone starts getting attacked. And so you have to know who you are, why you're doing it, and enjoy it so that when that time comes, as you're building your influence, you're in a secure state. And I personally went through so many mental health issues through my journey of influence. And so again, I just think you have to take care of yourself. You have to enjoy it. And if it ever gets to a point that you feel, I don't like this, I feel this pressure, then you just need to reevaluate that and make it work for you. So whether that's turning off all your notifications, now they have great features like turning off likes or comments, whatever you have to do to protect yourself and make sure you're continuing to enjoy that experience, I think is the most important thing.
No, I love that. I love that. Such a powerful advice, right? For the young ones, all this stuff that we all dealt with in our careers. As you were talking earlier, even about LinkedIn, right? Oh God, should I delete this post? Why they not liking it? This is so much value. I remember even having a conversation with my good friend, Liz Brown. I don't know if you guys know this. At the beginning of his career, Liz will get no views, very little views on his videos on YouTube. And he just kept it going. And I told him one day, thank you, brother. Thank you for doing those. Thank you for writing the books because, a housekeeper in South America heard about you. And she learned some of your quotes and she spoke life into this little Carlos that he didn't want it to be here anymore. And that gave that little kid the strength to keep it going because he knew that you were inside that building in your office, taking a shower in the office bathroom. You were sleeping on the floor, and you just kept it going. Just like right now, I keep hearing some interference here. Who cares? I just keep it going. We're not going to edit it either. You just do, like, who cares? Oh, I heard something. Oh, I went wrong. It's live. Who cares? Life goes on. It's, I love it. I just love it. That's why I love having these live interviews because, it's people right now, they are listening to us. A lot of people dealing with the mental health right now and just keep it going. Keep it going. Don't pay attention. Like Sofia said, shut it down, turn it off. Those likes, the shares, the views, the count. Instead of paying attention to those things, truly focus on being authentic and making the conversations count. And Sofia, speaking about making conversations count, let's talk a little bit about the future of branding and influence, because you see firsthand how social media has evolved, especially this let's go 15 years since YouTube started back in 2005. What do you see as the next frontier in branding and then in influence over the next 5 to 10 years? What are you betting your money and your time and your focus on?
Wow. Well, I think we all are aware that video is the next phase and it has been for a while. So I really think that's just taking over. As you mentioned too, it's just also the priority for every algorithm on every social platform. So LinkedIn, I think, went live with that about 6 months ago. So pushing videos, but of course, we're going to see AI being more and more a part of this. So I think seeing more fantastical videos, we're starting to see those already on Instagram. So virtual reality, also people likely making themselves virtual AI versions of themselves. So it's not them. We're probably going to see a lot more of that. So content creation will become easier and easier. And I think people are starting to figure out faceless marketing right now, which has been blowing up. And I think that's a really great area because people feel they don't want to get on social because they don't want to show their face. They don't want to be speaking. And I can relate to that as well. A lot have to push through. But I think a lot more people crafting the code on how to easily create automated marketing channels through AI. And I think that'll be the most interesting part is really just the conversation between reality and non-reality to continue to emerge and what are the ethics around that, because we're already seeing that happen with social media and what information is true is misinformation spreading. You'll see it now on Instagram where they just take Trump's head or Elon Musk's head. They create like actual new conversations with it. So I think it's going to be more of a consciousness shift as well, and us questioning what's real and having to, as a people, even I think collectively, start to become more aware of the truth and questioning reality.
Yes, no, I agree 100%. This point, look what they did to my brother Joe Rogan, right? They literally copy our entire, podcast, act like he didn't did the show. It wasn't him. Right? So they can make it like you and I do a show and where we are talking crazy shit. And it's, guys, You will never hear Sofia and I talking crazy shit. We come from great families, great values and beliefs. We're never going to message you on social asking you for money or nothing crazy, you know. But it's true. It's I agree. Video, all you guys listening to us, just get better. And try not, you guys. I know the AI is emerging so much. I often tell people just don't make everything about AI. Remember, go back to the beginning what Sofia and I have been talking about here. You gotta put yourself out there, your authentic self and your face as well. So do a combination. If you're super shy, maybe do 20-30% of your face and then 70% AI. Try to ideally you want it to be bigger, like 70-80% yourself and then 20 AI, but in video. So definitely I'm with you 100%, sister. Video, and then innovating like Sofia's doing with her summit, right? With, AI and VR, virtual reality. Pretty cool. Like pretty soon, guys, we'll be able to have like a virtual summit where we can high five and you can feel us high fiving you. And they doing crazy stuff that's so crazy. I was talking to some of my guru friends and they were talking about like VR where you can smell it. We're like, what the heck? Imagine you're not even in the room, but you can smell, feel. Imagine you give it a hug and you're not there. But it's like you feel that. And it's just like, that's how they are challenging in the space of technology and how fast it's evolving. And when you hear those things and you see it, and eventually I bet you governments will come up with grants where, you can start applying those things in your business. So keep an eye on those things because I think that there'll be a massive payout for who's ahead on that. And I definitely agree. My friend, wow, this conversation is going so amazing. And we are almost an hour. And you guys know I like to keep these shows within an hour. But I bet you're going to have to probably do a part 2. And Sofia, I want to finish this show with a powerful question that I ask every guest that's been here. And before I ask you that question, Sofia, what is the best place that they can hang out? Where do you spend the most time on social media? And then before she say that, I even put over here the link for the summit. Anybody that want to join us, I'm going to be a keynote speaker and I'm going to be doing a panel at the summit. I have some of my business partners. They're also going to be speaking at her event. And we are bringing incredible knowledge. The group of people that Sofia brought together is going to be incredible. Summit.wakagrowth.com, November 8 and 9. Turn dreams into reality. But Sofia, what is the best place for them to continue this conversation with you? And where do you hang out the most on social?
Yeah. The best place is LinkedIn. I'd say I'm most active on there now. And if you send me a DM or a comment, we'll respond back to you very quickly. And you can also email us at hello@wakagrowth.com if you have any questions about the summit. But you can get me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as well. But again, I suggest LinkedIn as probably the best space to catch me.
Yes. My friend, so cool. And you guys see her name over here. If you guys listening, her name is Sofia Waka, Waka, Bayashi, Ashi. So, my friend, and that brings us to the final question of this incredible episode is 70 years from now, you are 100 years old, and is your eulogy. All your best friends are there. If I happen to be alive, I know I'm a little bit older than you, but for whatever reason, if that happens, I'll be there listening to AC/DC, smoking a cigar, drinking some scotch or a tea. And they're going to read your eulogy and they're going to say, Sofia Wakabayashi was ... In your own words, who was Sofia Wakabayashi?
Wow, that's a lot of pressure. But Sofia was true, honest, and kind. And Sofia lived every day to fulfill her life's purpose. And she did that. I think that's all I would want there to be.
That's incredible, my friend. Appreciate that. I do that for everybody. I had some good friends of mine that have been on the show. They are no longer here. My good friends, Frank Shankwitz, the founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation. He answered that question and he helped 500,000 little kids grant their wishes before they pass. And that was his mission in life, is to come over here and fulfill that mission. He also fulfilled his wish. He has a movie called Wishman and a book. And, Make-A-Wish Foundation is one of my very dearest friends. And every amazing, incredible guest that come on this show, I ask this question and I love it. Now it's in the vault. And Sofia, I'm looking for, my friend. I know that we are up to incredible things that we are partnering, working on this next couple of months. And if you guys are listening to this on the replay, follow Sofia Wakabayashi on LinkedIn. And when you guys know the drill, this show is free. We bring the best of the best influencers, celebrities, athletes in here where I interview and I extract the best out of them with my questions. As you guys hear, Sofia, that's a great question. You guys hear them saying that all the time because why? I want you guys to get the best of the best. As I often say, you listening to me, you deserve more. I want to give you guys more. I want you guys to like. I want you guys to comment below. I want you guys to tag somebody who is struggling right now, wherever you are listening us, on X, at Coach Cicada, or on Instagram, Carlos Inspire, or TikTok, Carlos Inspire, or on Facebook or LinkedIn, Carlos Cicada, and tag somebody. You never know whose life you will save because they learned one thing here from Sofia and I today that can change the way how they see things. And maybe it can give them a new perspective, a new idea. And if one life is always saved from today's show, that's one life worth saving, as I love to say. So, my friends, you have an incredible day. Until next time, every Wednesday and Thursday, we are doing those live shows, and we release the podcast episode every Monday at 7:17 a.m. Pacific at the carlosinspireshow.com. And you know the drill. Life is all about the mission, never the commission. And for you guys that are struggling with mental health, depression, thinking about taking your own life, just remember my stories of that little boy that sold bread on the streets. They wanted to do the same, but God has spoken to him and whispered into his mind that your future doesn't have to equal your past unless you carry on the stories with you. When you feel really, really down, imagine a 6'5", 300 pounds Brazilian giant giving you a hug and whispering to your ears. The days that breaks us are truly the days that makes us. God bless you all. Boom.